Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. We're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Emily Evans, and I'm joined here today by Katie Smith, and we're from the National Renewable Energy Laboratory. We're here today to talk about the Geothermal Lithium Extraction Prize and the recent changes that were made. With that, I will hand things over to Katie Smith. Katie, would you like to take us away?
Great, thanks so much, Emily. Welcome everyone today. Thank you for joining us. This will be a fairly short webinar. We're going to go over the discussion, or we're going to discuss the rules and timeline changes that were made with the rules update that was posted last week. And then we will have some time for Q&A at the end. Next slide, please. Just as a housekeeping note, this webinar is being recorded and will be made available later. It will be posted on the HeroX site. We will have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. All Q&As need to be submitted in writing through either the Q&A area or the chat. And if you have any technical issues, please check your audio settings under the audio tab, or if you continue experiencing issues, please contact WebEx support. Next slide. So we're going to start off with a summary of the rules and timeline changes. Next slide. So you all asked and we listened. The Geothermal Lithium Extraction Prize has made some changes to allow for more innovators to participate in this great opportunity. We have expanded the eligibility requirements to welcome domestic small businesses and university incubators to complete when they're partnered with an individual or group currently affiliated with an accredited U.S. institution of higher education. So previously, all prize participants had to be currently affiliated with the U.S. institution of higher education. Now, however, we can bring in those small businesses and university incubator partners as long as they have a partnership with a university. Next slide. So some of the major changes to eligibility that we made are that the small businesses and incubators are eligible to participate if they meet the definition for small business concern under the Code of Federal Regulations, or if they meet the definition for a university incubator under those same Code of Federal Regulations. Small businesses and incubators do need to partner with an individual or group that is currently affiliated with an accredited U.S. institution of higher education. And the small businesses and university incubators are not eligible to be the prime applicant or what is called the team captain on HeroX. Next slide, please. With this eligibility changes, we did make some changes to the timeline as well. Please note that phase one submission was originally due this Friday, July 2nd. However, we've moved that out until September 2nd to give the small companies and incubators time to participate as well, and to allow our teams that were already participating extra time to really refine their phase one submissions. Please note that because of this extended phase one submission, phase two and phase three have been pushed out as well. All of this is reflected in both on the HeroX timeline as well as in the new HeroX rules document. Next slide, please. So those are the major changes that we've made, the eligibility and the timeline. If you have not registered your team already, please do so at herox.com/geothermal lithium extraction. We really look forward to this expanded eligibility and all of the new great innovators that it's going to bring into helping to solve this prize. Next slide, please. So now we're going to go on to questions. Again, please post any of your questions into the Q&A section, and we will answer the ones that we were able. There is possibility that we will require verification from the Department of Energy's legal department on some of the questions. If that is the case, we will not be able to answer them today. However, we will post an update on HeroX with updated Q&A once we have those clarifications. We are only answering questions on eligibility and timeline changes today. We are not answering any technical questions regarding the prize. So if anyone has any questions, please go ahead and put them into the Q&A or the chat.
Hi, Katie. We've got one question here. Can a small business that is affiliated with an academic institution, can they act as the HeroX team captain and be the primary submitter?
So if the small business, so the person who's the team captain and primary submitter needs to have that affiliation, current affiliation with a university or a US accredited university. So if you happen to own a small business and also be, a professor or a student at a university, then you can absolutely be the prime submitter. However, if you are the owner of a small business and you are not associated with a US accredited institution of higher learning, you will need to partner with one so that they can be the prime submitter.
Correct. Yeah.
Yes.
Great. If anyone has any questions, you can drop them straight into that Q&A box. If you drop them into the chat box, we may not see them right away. Any questions you might have about eligibility, now that we're expanding eligibility to include businesses associated with a university or on the submission timeline. I would say that frequent types of questions that we get when we do expand a deadline is, hey, I was ready to submit on June 2nd. Do I have to wait now until September? And the answer there is no, you can go ahead and submit at any time. That is one question that we receive. I would also encourage anyone else along those timelines to go check out, or along those lines, check out the timeline in HeroX. It's been updated. You can kind of look at how the deadline extension has impacted the rest of the contest. You'll see that we moved everything out just about a month or so from the previous timeline, but definitely go check that out. Make sure that your team is registered. If you have any questions, feel free to drop those into the chat. Otherwise,
Emily and Katie, there are 3 questions in the Q&A.
Oh, great.
Scrolling down. Thank you.
Are you able to see those?
Yeah, I see them now. Thank you, Lindsay.
Yep.
Let's see here.
Yeah, so it looks like we have a question about budgets. So for the first phase 1 submission, you do not need to submit a detailed budget for the project. If you look at the rules document, there is a table detailing exactly what needs to be included with each phase.
There's another question that says, we are a small business and we plan to apply a loan. And the rule states that small businesses need to be affiliated with a university. So that means partnerships, be a part of a university incubator. That's still a really important component. Also, small businesses are not eligible to participate as a prime applicant or HeroX captain. So that means that you need that university partner to be the one to actually submit the application. We have another question about the size constraint on startups participating. And if you go to the official rules document, there is a link to some of the codes that guide the small business. definition and if you meet that, and that's run out of the SBA. If there's additional questions on that front, we can point you in the right direction if you email us to geolithium@nrel.gov.
Do we have any other questions?
Let's give it just one more moment here. We did receive another question on kind of roles and responsibilities with the individuals associated or with the university team members versus a small business. And, if the small business owns the technology that they want to submit for the competition, I would refer back to the official rules and to two specific parts. One is that the small business needs to be affiliated with the academic institution. And two, again, that primary submitter, the person who submits the application, needs to be at the academic institution. As far as the individual roles and responsibilities and how that works between the small business and the university, that's really between the competitors and the team members themselves. And that is not guided by the official rules.
Oh, and so we just had another question come in. Does the team need to register much earlier than the due date? And if so, by when? We do recommend that if you are planning on submitting a phase 1 application, that you do sign up sooner than later. We often post updates to the website and so forth. And so if you're signed up, you'll get an email letting you know that changes have been made. Signing up does not require you to submit a phase 1 application. So if something happens and you're unable to, there's no penalty. So I would recommend at least creating a team on the website sooner than later, but you don't have to actually submit anything until the due date.
Not to mention, if you register as a team, you get updates and reminders, and you get to learn about all of the different prize events that are going on. So absolutely, you should sign up at HeroX just whenever you're ready. I see another question here about IP, and if the IP belongs to a small business, how does that work between the small business and the academic institution? We get this question a lot on all prizes. And the official rules do not govern how IP is to be handled between individuals within a specific team. And so that is completely between the small business and the academic institution and what that looks like.
Great. And then if there are programmatic questions that are administrative or not related to the questions today, they can be emailed to the geolithium extraction at nrel.gov email address. There is also within HeroX a question and answer area that you can post questions there as well if it's something that other teams would benefit from hearing. And we do have the geolithium extraction email is monitored by the prize administration team, and we do our best to respond as quickly as possible.
There's another question of if you can still update the application if you submit it before the deadline, and the answer is yes. You can edit a uploaded application to HeroX up until the submission deadline, which is September 2nd at 5 p.m. Eastern. Anything up before that date, you are able to go in and edit and adjust. Also, since we were talking about deadlines, just a plug, September 2nd is going to be here before you know it. I know sometimes deadline extensions can feel like, whoo, I got some more time. But still, I would absolutely encourage you, once you are ready to upload your submission, get it in the system. You know, make sure to at least start your application September 1st, even August 30th, 31st, so that you don't run into any of those last minute technical glitches that can be really stressful. And of course, we're here to help should you run into any technical issues. But, you know, just best to get it in there early, get it uploaded, and don't wait for that 5 p.m. on the nose deadline.
Emily, I think that's a great point, especially since we saw a lot of people working from home and bandwidth can be dicey at times. No one wants to be uploading at the last minute and have your internet go out and then not be able to upload.
Yeah, we do see it happen. And of course, you know, we're here to help, but let's see here. I haven't seen any additional questions come in. If anyone has a last minute question, we'll keep things open for another minute or two here. Otherwise, we will end the webinar. If anything occurs to you after the webinar, later tonight, feel free to shoot us an email at geolithiumextraction@nrel.gov. Katie, any final thoughts while we wait for last minute questions?
Nope, just, thank you everyone for joining us today and for your questions. We're really looking forward to this expanded eligibility and getting more people involved in this great prize.
All right. And with that concludes our webinar. Thank you everyone for joining and good luck in the prize.
Have a great day, everyone.